Her name was Antoinette Frank. In the mid-1990s, she stood out in the New Orleans Police Department, sharp, professional, trusted. On the surface, she was the image of progress. But behind the badge, something was terribly wrong. Even during training, red flags were everywhere. She failed multiple psychological evaluations, but the warnings were ignored. The department pushed her forward. Off duty, she worked security at a family-owned restaurant, Kim An. The owners treated her like family, trusting her completely. But Frank wasn't coming alone. She had fallen into a dangerous relationship with a 19-year-old drug dealer, Rogers Lacaze. Together, they crossed the line from law enforcement to lawlessness. On March 4th, 1995, the nightmare unfolded. Frank and Lacaze entered the restaurant armed, not to protect, but to destroy. Officer Ronald Williams, a fellow cop and father of two, was executed on the spot. Then the siblings who worked there were forced into the freezer. Gunshots echoed, cold, calculated, execution style. But one sibling hid. She heard Frank's voice. She saw enough to know the truth. And minutes later, Frank returned to the crime scene in uniform, pretending to investigate the very murders she helped commit. The evidence was overwhelming: ballistics, witnesses, surveillance. In court, it took just 22 minutes for the jury to sentence her to death. Today, she remains on Louisiana's death row. She wasn't a criminal hiding in the shadows. She was the law, and she turned that power into a weapon. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come from an enemy. It comes from the person you trusted with everything. And for Taylor Wright, that person was Ashley MacArthur. Taylor was a former police officer and private investigator. In the middle of a difficult divorce, she gave Ashley $34,000 to hold for safekeeping. Days later, Taylor disappeared. Ashley told police Taylor was emotional and had gone riding, but her story didn't match the evidence. Cell phone records placed them not on horseback trails but at a remote family farm. Then came the purchases: bags of cement, potting soil, red flags. Weeks later, Taylor's body was found in a shallow grave covered in concrete, a single gunshot to the back of the head, still wearing her necklace. In court, prosecutors laid it out: bank records, surveillance footage, GPS logs. Ashley had stolen the money, executed her friend, and tried to bury the evidence. She showed no emotion, no remorse. The jury convicted her of first-degree murder, life in prison, no parole. She didn't just take Taylor's money, she took her life and tried to bury the evidence with concrete. Some scandals don't begin with crime scenes. They begin behind office doors, where power, silence, and temptation collide. In 2023, the La Vergne, Tennessee Police Department was rocked by a scandal that made national news. Officer Megan Hall, young, newly married, and fresh out of the academy, admitted to sexual relationships with multiple fellow officers, many of them on duty, some even during official events. The fallout was massive. 5 officers fired, 3 suspended. The police chief resigned. Internal investigations revealed a culture of coercion, cover-ups, and silence. Megan Hall claimed she was groomed, pressured by superiors who offered promotions and better assignments in exchange for intimacy. Others saw it differently: an abuse of power, a breakdown of discipline. The result was the same: a community's trust shattered. Calls went unanswered. Morale collapsed. And the headlines spread far beyond Tennessee, turning a local scandal into a national debate. Because sometimes the damage isn't measured in bodies or bullets. It's measured in the trust a community may never fully get back. In every story tonight, whether it was a badge turned into a weapon, a friend who became an executioner, or a department undone by its own secrets, the theme was the same: betrayal, power misused, trust broken, and the chilling reminder that sometimes the real danger doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people we're told to trust the most.